Hey friends, welcome. I wanted to pick up on our theme of unfinished business. So I started this conversation with some videos I shared with you about the 3-step process to help you complete your final step if you're in my yoga teacher training. And we broke down the classes that you need to submit into 3 different sections. And I encourage you to just send them along as you're developing them so that you can get feedback, and also just to chunk it down into something that's very doable. And this is very doable. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to see this through. If you're not seeing it through, it's bigger than just that this takes time and you're not sure what to do. By the time you've reached this point, you've already done so many classes with me, and I know that you know exactly what to do. So we want to really examine what is it that's actually getting in the way, because whatever is standing in the way of this certification process is probably the very same thing that's standing in the way of you showing up in other areas of your life. So this isn't just about getting this piece of paper and getting out there to teach. This is about you discovering what it is that's holding you back. And I always talk about how we have our ideas of what it is that's holding us back, but is that truth? Because these are stories that we've been telling ourselves. Maybe I'm not fit enough, or I haven't been practicing long enough, or I don't know, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too whatever. There might be some hesitation linked into some storyline you keep repeating to yourself, but it's not likely what the truth is. The truth is most often connected to something third chakra related, and something about your desire to actually allow yourself to be fully seen, because that can be pretty uncomfortable. In fact, they say, what do they say? That one of the greatest fears in life is public speaking. So being out there in front of people. So when you think about teaching, you're thinking about yourself standing in front of a room and how uncomfortable that can be. It's uncomfortable if you remain detached from the yoga experience. But if you come to the front of the room and you understand this as a path of service, that all you want for the people that you're with, whether it's in a yoga studio or a small group setting in your home, or whatever it is, wherever you choose to share, all you really want is for the people that you're sharing something that you love with are able to experience something of what you've experienced in that practice, because something has brought you to this point where you've stepped up to say, yeah, I want to share this, right? And you've already come so far in your journey, and then there's this hesitation, and yet all you're doing is sharing what you love. And think of how beautiful that is when you're able to touch in that other person the same thing that was sparked or touched within you, that you're able to give the people in the room these moments of quiet, these moments of peace, these moments of clarity, and how critical that is in our, in these times in our busy lives. So despite, being there in front of people is one of people's greatest fears, this is entirely different. This is not like public speaking. This is not a performance. This is about being in the yoga space, creating this safe container, this sacred space where you allow yourself to be guided so that you can guide those in the room. And so the work that you do each and every day to clear out your blocks are what are going to allow that process to be a really beautiful and beneficial process, both for you and the people in the room. When we don't do that, that's when the anxiety comes up, or whatever issues that we have unresolved sort of spill over into that space. So that's why daily practice is critical. So we remain that clear conduit for the teachings to flow through us, so that despite us not necessarily being comfortable with getting up there in front of people, us understanding that what we're doing here is so completely different than a performance, and it should be so completely different from a performance. And to not confuse that in any way. This isn't about you. You've got to get your ego out of the way. You've got to get that small sense of self out of the way, and you have to stand in that power, in that space where you feel that clear transference of information through you, so that you can bring to the room, to the space, whatever it is that is most needed in that time. And that's why it's so important to have a regular practice. And there's many reasons that it's important to have a regular practice. But every time you go to teach, no matter how much preparation you've done, and if you're practicing daily, that is, that's daily preparation. But when you arrive in the room, you may have this sequence all planned out, and you may be completely clear on what it is that you want to teach. But what's really going to make that class powerful is if you're able to feel into the energy of the room. And that's why a clear subconscious is really important. So you're not mixing what's happening internally for you necessarily with what's happening in the room. Although, as I mentioned in a prior video, likely what you're experiencing in this moment in time, there's people in the room also experiencing at this moment in time. We're affected by world events, we're affected by time of day, we're affected by the seasons, we're affected by so many different things, by the energy in the room, by, yoga is infinitely fascinating because no two classes should ever be the same. Every time we gather as a community, it's an entirely different dynamic. You're feeling something different. This particular group of individuals have never been together, in say, I'm using a drop-in class, for example, a yoga drop-in class in the studio as an example. You're always going to have a different mix of people. So that particular energetic configuration of people has never existed before, and you're feeling into that. And that's going to bring something, say, through you and from you to share with them. So it never gets boring. Each and every class, even if you were to teach the exact same poses, there's going to be something very different in your delivery of that particular class at that particular moment in time. And so yoga is this deep experience. It's this sharing of energies. It's this moving forward on this path of life, supporting each other and helping each other to clear those blocks, clear the blocks that are keeping you from completing your classes, from completing the certification process, and just keeping you back from other areas in your life. Whatever that block is that's keeping you from completing this process is very likely the exact same energy that's keeping you from completing, completing other things in your life. So think about that, and think about, do you want to get this done? Are you ready to remove whatever blocks there are that are holding you back, not just in the certification process, but in the work you're here to do, the real work that you're here to do. So thank you for being here, and more to come soon.